ho is just a joyful laugh that came from Robin Goodfellow, who was a character of William Shakespeare that appeared in many of his plays around the 1600s. He was included in many of the 17th century ballads as well. That famous joyful laugh of his was his trademark of ho, ho, ho. Robin himself was a medieval nickname for the devil, or shall we say, the hooded Puck. Puck played pranks on people. He was a thief that dressed in Robin's hood. But remember, we all know Santa bellows out a big joyful laugh on Christmas night just before he takes off on flight on the roofs of our homes. Goodfellow was known for his costumes that he hides behind. He would have made a great Santa, but Goodfellow was better dressed as Pan, known as the horn god with cloven feet. What else is hiding in Santa's closet from the past? Long before there was Christmas or Christ, there was Odin. Odin was fabled to have had one eye and to be full of wisdom and magic. For he took his own eye out and threw it into the well of knowledge so he could gain wisdom. He rode the skies on an 8-legged horse and rode in a chariot drawn by 2 white goats called Cracker and Gashner. He lived in the Northland and had the voice of thunder. Having many names, he was called Father of All, Sky Father, or just Father, and many other names he went by. He sported a gray beard and wore a wide-brimmed hat with a blue travel coat. Odin was said to have knowledge of the end times. He would bless you or curse you as he rode through the sky. He decided who would live or die, casting to the earth blessings and curses. Odin was believed to bestow special gifts at the Yuletide to those who honored him and bowed down to his sacred fir tree. Thor was Odin's blood son and probably history's most renowned worshiped pagan god. His extensive authority is primarily noticed on the 5th day of the week, which is named after him, Thursday, which is Thor's day. It is ironic that Thor's icon was a hammer. A hammer is also the symbolic tool of a carpenter, like Santa Claus. It is also worth bringing up that Thor's helpers were elves, like St. Nick's elves. Thor's elves were skilled workers of wood. It was elves that created Thor's supernatural golden hammer and that gave him the ability to throw lightning bolts. He had magic powers and he rode in a cart pulled by 2 goats. He was named the God of Thunder. St. Nicholas the Wonder Maker, the only saint whose festival was celebrated in December. He was, in other respects, nearly in accord with the customs of Saturn as the hero of Saturnella. St. Nicholas never came down the chimney. It was his fur-clad friend, the dark attendant, that scampered down the chimney. But there is a tale of him dropping a bag of gold down the chimney. Once it landed in a stocking of a poor girl. He wore a red cloak and a white gown while carrying a long bishop crook, as he sported a long white beard and he had a bald top. He gave secret gifts and put coins in shoes to those who left them out for him. His stature was not but 5 feet tall. He was a small man for his time, living until 343. He was 63. At his death, he was memorialized by St. Nicholas Day, December the 6th. For the reason his assistant was called the Dark One, or Black Pete, because he was normally covered in soot and ashes from his chimney travels. The Dark Companion carried a bag, distributed goodies, and punished the good boys and girls. He placed coal, turnips, and stones in their shoes, carried a bag of switches on his back, or a sack to capture them in for being bad. The parents would threaten that he would put the bad children in a sack and take them back into the Black Forest. In other accounts, he would throw the sack in the river and drown the naughty children. To the medieval Dutch, Black Peter was just another name for the devil. Somehow he was restrained by St. Nicholas and forced to be his servant. Therefore, in part of Europe, the church bowed to St. Nicholas' captive, chained dark helper, none other than Satan, the Dark One, the figurative of all evil. One of the uncanny jobs of St. Nicholas' devilish helper was to merrily tow sinners straight to hell. He often is called Nicholas or Claus. It is important that the Black Peter and all of St. Nicholas's companions were openly identified as the devil. Black Peter was to enter the house through the chimney, which would explain why he always had black face and hands. At times he left a bundle of sticks for whipping or a small bag of salt in the shoes instead of candy when a child had been bad. Rupert first appeared in a play in 1968 and was damned by the Catholic Church as being the devil in 1680. Claus arrives into the village on a steamboat, wearing a white bishop's dress and a red bishop's hat, holding a long gold-colored staff with a curled top. He carries a large book that tells if each child in the village has been good or bad in the past year, carrying a bag of gifts to fill the children's stockings. He traditionally is riding a white horse. At night, once all is in their bed, someone will dress up as Claus or Pete, and then they will place a bag of gifts at the front door and then begin to bang loudly at the doors and windows, throwing candy at the house. The children will jump and run for the bag and drag it inside the house. Holly King is dressed in red and wears a sprig of holly in his twisted hair. It is sometimes depicted driving a team of 8 stags. He is also known as the fertility god, occasionally the Green Man or the Lord of the Forest. He is the Winter King, celebrated in colors of green, red, and white. He celebrates with holly